Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your weekend forecast. Sorry this is out a little bit late. I had some sound issues, mostly that I forgot to plug in my microphone, which is battery powered, and then I had to charge it, and also some computer issues. Anyways, it's been one of those days, but we are going to get the forecast out for you because there's some stuff going on, although nothing too dramatic. We're going to talk a little bit about the weather next week because it's obviously a big travel week and there's some things going on there as well. So I just want to kind of give you an idea what's going on across the country. Okay, first of all, it's busy. For the first time in a while, particularly over the Northeast, it's busy. Our system has the heavy rain and the steady rain with our system is over. We did get some snow, particularly at higher elevations across southern Vermont yesterday. Matter of fact, I was driving home last night and it was slippery, even on Route 100 near Bromley, which is the spot you'd expect it to be slippery if it was going to be anywhere. So yeah, there was some places where we got some snow, some accumulating snow, even, and certainly some of the tops of the ski areas got like several inches of snow. So, but for the most part, it was rain, and we do have another chance of a little bit of steady precipitation tonight. But basically, that would just be not as heavy as it was yesterday. And you can see what's happened with the system. It's actually moving kind of west, and we're going to talk about how this happened. But basically, all the heavier snow is to our west and to our south. And actually, we're going to talk about how this system is so big and so wrapped up at this point that the warm air is on the north and the cooler air is to the south of the main part of the system. Pretty remarkable. It does happen sometimes. The storm has basically flipped the atmosphere. And you can see that. Here is rain, a rain shield kind of across southern Quebec. And then here, snow across most of Pennsylvania and western New York, even into the mountains of West Virginia. But rain well to its north, and that's because the cold air, which was tapped from kind of our north and west, has been brought in all the way across the country and is actually here. And when we look at temperatures, it's not like it's warm here in southern Quebec, but it is warm enough for rain there, whereas it's snow. Some of this is elevation driven as well. Southern Quebec not quite as high elevation wise, but you look at like western Maine, which does have elevation similar to central Pennsylvania, and yeah, it's definitely just one of those times when things when the atmosphere does some kind of odd things. As we take a look, this is a little bit closer, and this is a little bit hard to see, but here's New York State here, right, and here's Pennsylvania. Here's our system, and one thing you can tell with the system here is just how wrapped up it is in this giant dry slot, basically dry air that's been sucked into the center of the storm, and that's what's affecting us today. That's why even though the storm is pretty close to us, it has meant that we are not getting any precipitation, or at least just kind of spotty precipitation today. Even had a break or two of sun today because the system has drawn in that much dry air basically at all levels of the atmosphere, and the system is vertically stacked. Now, when that's a tropical system, that's a good sign for a tropical system in terms of rapid development. But when it's a non-tropical system, systems like this rely on a difference in temperature around the center of the storm. And what happens when you vertically stack a storm is you wrap it all around, and basically the temperatures are pretty uniform. Like I said, a little bit cooler actually to the south and west, but you don't have a big temperature contrast anymore. That's where the energy is derived from a storm, is kind of the mixing of those energies. And we've already done that now. So that means that there's still a lot of kind of leftover energy in the atmosphere, and that's just kind of spinning itself out. That'll take a while to happen, but it means that it decreases the intensity of the precipitation and also the coverage over time as the system draws to the northeast. But that's quite the satellite imagery here across over the northeast. Here's another look at radar. Again, by the time you see this is a little while ago, but basically, again, look at how that dry air has moved in across Vermont. You can see that we have our snow and our rain to our west here across the west. If we look at temperatures, you can see again, here's those cooler temperatures across south of the main part of the storm with slightly warmer temperatures to the north. And basically what happened is we tapped this cooler air. Temperatures are a little warmer here to the west because basically there was some sun there today, which allowed for some heating. But basically, yeah, that cool air mass got drawn in to the south of the storm. That's what the storm has done. It's basically mixed the atmosphere fully and kind of made it pretty uniform all the way from northern Georgia way up to Hudson Bay. So that's when you know you've got this big, expansive storm. Pretty impressive stuff. Let's take a quick look at expected snowfall tonight, because we are going to change back over. This is actually, I put this out a couple days ago for my patrons for their Wednesday forecast. Nothing has really changed. I think an inch or two above 1,500 feet, above 1,700 feet maybe. Not really anything to be too concerned about. Could be a little slushy tomorrow morning if you're driving west to east across the greens, basically. Let's take a look at your actual forecast. Today, sprinkles left over, highs around 40. Tonight, we do probably have a better chance to switch back over as precipitation increases in intensity to snow at the higher elevations. Not a ton and not as much precipitation as we had yesterday, but certainly the chance for an inch or two of snow at those higher elevations. Tomorrow there's some flurries. That's mostly in the higher elevations, but all of us could see some flurries tomorrow as we get into the northwest flow as the storm moves to our north and east. We stay cloudy overnight and temperatures fall to about right around freezing. Be a little careful in some spots for some black ice on the roads on Sunday morning. Wouldn't be too concerned, but just something to keep an eye out. We have to start remembering that as we head towards winter driving once again. Sunday's a little bit better in terms of like getting outside. Best day to get out there. We'll have a few peaks of sun, not a lot of sun, but a little bit of sun, mostly clouds though. It'll be a little bit breezy. Temperatures in the upper 30s, so you're definitely going to want to bundle up if you're headed out there, but not crazy cold. Overnight, we clear out. That allows temperatures to fall back into the mid 20s. So let's take a quick look at those weekend highlights. Steady rain is over with some light sprinkles left throughout the day. Overnight, precipitation could pick back up with the snow at higher elevations. About 1,500 feet, the roads could be slippery tomorrow. I wouldn't be too worried, but could be with the 1 to 2 inches of snow. Flurries at higher elevations Saturday shouldn't accumulate even at the higher elevations and definitely not at the lower elevations. And Sunday's a quiet day with a mix of sun and clouds with lots of clouds, and temperatures will be on the cool side. So basically a pretty nice day on Sunday. As we head towards next week, big travel week, 2 storms are going to impact us. Tuesday looks pretty likely that system is going to be all rain. Still a little early to completely lock that in, but very likely all rain. And then the end of the week, Thursday, Thanksgiving evening into Friday, somewhere in that time frame, looks like we can get another system, potentially. That system, right now, all the models want to make it, if anything that falls snow. The question there is how much precipitation is actually going to affect us in southern Vermont. But accumulating snow is definitely possible for the end of next week. I'll keep you up to date on if that's actually going to happen. Again, way too early. Really, we're like probably 3 or 4 days from really having any idea with any certainty as to what's going to happen there. But definitely on the radar for what's happening. The pattern overall has definitely gotten more active with basically we have moved kind of to a setup where there's going to be storms kind of moving across the country. It's good for us in terms of the precipitation. We've been dry, should increase our precipitation amounts. And if we look like we're in a slightly cooler pattern at the moment, so over the next couple of weeks, there should be a couple of chances for snow if things come together correctly. We'll have to see if that actually happens. But if you're looking for some early season skiing, it might happen. That would be kind of nice as we head towards Thanksgiving weekend and the first weekend in December. All right, that's what's going on. I do want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. They're awesome, and they're kind of how things happen here. Also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I would encourage you to do so. On a week like next week, where there might be some snow coming, and I'll probably do extra forecasts, and also my forecasts will be kind of not at their normal times because Thanksgiving's happening, and this will just make sure that you it gets moved to the top of your YouTube channel by subscribing to my link. You can also, I think, set that up so that it might send you an email, or if you're interested, you really want an email every time I send something out. That's one of the things I do for some of my patrons. That's one thing you can get as a patron. So check out my Patreon page. Anyways, I'll be back on Monday with an updated look, at least at next week's forecast.